Good morning. This is Rosemary, and this is the Lightwalker's Path, a place for inspiration and to hear enlightening conversation. And today's guest is Deborah Zelazny, and she's a multi-genre author whose work explores imaginary worlds, relatable characters that connect us all. She is a blogger for the JerseyMama.com, and her writing has appeared in literary magazines and websites worldwide. And I met her recently, and I'm so excited to speak to you today. How are you doing, Debbie?
I'm great. Thank you so much for
Mm.
having me. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, this is awesome. So I know we had a nice conversation at our book thing. We're both selling our books, and I was really intrigued by your own book and how you're approaching your writing. So I know that your book called The Key of the Dark House is
Correct.
for YA. Is it like, is that your audience, YA audience?
Yeah, I always say 13 and up just because there's some mature matter in there. The main character has an abusive father,
Okay.
but really adults could read it too. I've had actually many of my readers are adults. It's
Yeah.
more like a quick read book if you're reading it as an adult.
Beautiful. And I know that one of the themes, and I'm going to just ask you also, one of the themes that you have in your book is kind of like actions creating cause and effect and kindness and transformation, which is really neat. What would you say? Would you agree that that would be like a theme that you use in your writing?
Yeah, a lot of light and dark, like, the inner darkness within people and characters and how you rise above it. I don't often don't set out to write books like with that theme. It just like comes out that way. And people have
Yeah.
noticed, this like pattern, like we notice that you're writing like some dark themes, but they have this kind of light,
Yeah.
ways to find the light. So yeah,
Yeah.
that seems to be my calling.
I love that because my book I'm working on my YA now because I have several of them published, but this one I'm working on also has that same inner theme of darkness and then a character who brings light into darkness,
Exactly.
which
I
is
love
I
that.
always love. I always love the transformation of characters as they grow and as they learn.
Same, same. I often tell people that I love a good flawed character, like
Yeah.
a character that is doing all the wrong things, but is trying so hard to
Yes.
not do that. And
Exactly.
they keep messing up, but then you get to see them kind of rise to the
Yes.
occasion. And I just love that. Or there's another character who comes in and brings the best out of them. So
Yeah.
that's always like fun to try to develop characters like that.
I love that. I did that in my Time Wheel series where I have, a person, the boy's a main character, and how he transforms and grows through the friendship of characters he meets and his time trips and such.
Right. And that's what life is all about, if you think about it, right? I mean, it's about like how we interact with other people
Mhm.
and what we make of situations and things. Like that's I think that's wonderful when especially when you see it with a really fun character. Like it's
Oh
just
yeah.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the inner growth that happens when you
Definitely.
step out into new things, which is really cool. Okay, so you also have children in that age group that are reaching like teenage and past. Is that true?
I have a teenage son, yes, and he's
Yeah.
been a big inspiration for my writing for sure. Yeah.
That's great. Yeah, my son's an adult now, but I use, I guess a lot of our relationship raising him, I wove through some of my books because I think they teach us as much as we teach them, right?
Absolutely. This book probably wouldn't be published if it wasn't for my son because he was the one who encouraged me to dig it out from under my bed and to like do something with it.
That's great.
So I dedicated it to him because of that. I feel like
Oh, that's great.
yeah, he was the main inspiration, really.
Beautiful. That's beautiful. So I know that you're thinking of going on with this book because you've had a lot of your readers say, "Are you going to do another one?" So are you continuing to work on that series
Yeah, I'm working on a different book right now that'll probably be out by the end of the year that's not related to this one. But I've had so many people ask me if I'm doing a sequel, and I've said before that I would really love to make this one a trilogy because there's
Yes.
other characters in there. And I ended it, this book ends kind of like with an unknown, like I did it on purpose to set it up for
Yes.
possibly the second and third. But
Yeah.
it's challenging to write. I started writing the second one, but it's a little sad so that's hard as a writer. Like you kind of
You fall in love with
absorb,
it. Yes.
yeah, you absorb the characters' feelings, and it's one of
Yeah.
the first books I've written that starts a little sad. So I have to kind of pace myself with that one.
Have
Yeah.
you ever thought of putting it out there to your readers, like to tell you ideas that they'd want to see in your second book?
A little bit, yeah. I hear sometimes at those shows where we, do signings, I do hear that on my Instagram channel and my Facebook page. Sometimes people will give me suggestions or tell me what they're looking for. I've had so many people ask about the sequels that it's kind of like you get that push, like, okay, man, I got to do the sequel
Yes.
because people are
Yeah.
really asking, which I'm flattered and I love that.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I have to listen to everybody a little more.
Yeah, that's great. That's kind of I asked some when I was writing my Time Wheel series, I had kind of asked for input from younger people, like what would you want? Like if this character was to go back in time, where would you want to be? And they would, mention places that they thought really cool. Like one of the my beta readers was I think a 14-year-old girl, and she said, "I really want to go back to the book burning. I want to see what that is with Caesar. I just read about that in school." So I tried to weave in places that would be interesting for the readers that they might have learned about at that age, through
Yeah,
the
that's great. Yeah.
that was a lot
Actually,
of
I
fun.
I do ask my son a lot, especially
Yeah.
like just for suggestions. And when I was going to do the title of this book, once it was written, it was always going to be called The Dark House, just The
Yeah.
Dark. It was been that way. I wrote this like in 1996, like when I was
Oh,
really young, and
wow.
I've kept it all these years and then polished it up. But there were other books with that title, so I didn't want to confuse
Yeah.
readers. So I did like a little Facebook poll and I like gave a couple of different suggestions of different titles and I had people vote on which one
Great
would
idea.
make them want to pick it up. And they
Yeah.
all kind of like really, actually, they liked Key of the Dark House better than just the Dark House.
I
So,
like the key. I like the key too because I think you want to know what is that key for? What does it do? Is it a key to the character? Is it a key to the lighthouse? Like, and it kind of intrigues you right when you see it. And then, of course, the cover of your book and how you had your table set with all the nautical things that really drew me in. So
oh, thanks. Oh,
you did a
good.
wonderful
Yeah,
job.
that's the idea. I want to rope people in. Even behind me, I have my like Lego lighthouse.
Yeah, yeah. So that's my thing is like I'm not great at marketing or like I'm okay with social stuff, but I'm not great with it. But I just do my best. But so many people like you got it down, you know?
Oh, thanks. I try. I think it helps that I was a blogger first.
Yeah,
So I had my social channels were all the Jersey Mama. That's my
love that.
blogger name. And I tried to use that audience a little bit to mesh with like my author audience.
Oh,
It's
that's
interesting though, like they are because I have an author Deborah Z Instagram too that's separate from the Jersey Mama, and I do feel like my viewers are different. It's different demographic. So I
yeah.
kind of have to like juggle, be both, be the social media person and be the author.
All right, so on your blog and on your Instagram, I know you as the Jersey Mama, what are some of the things that you address on that for your audience? Like what are some of the things that you talk about? Is it parenting? Is it product?
It's funny because I feel like I've evolved. Like it started in I think like 2013 was really the year I started to put most of the effort into the blog because I realized people were reading it. I was kind of doing it like just to keep myself busy as a new mom. But then I started thinking, oh, people really are using it as a resource. So I started writing about like places we would visit since my son was young and like
Yeah.
travel places, recipes, a lot of crafts back
Oh
then,
yeah,
like
yeah.
school crafts.
Crafts, yeah.
And now that I've gotten older and my son has gotten older, I feel like the blog has evolved a little bit and I kind of like am transitioning it to beyond Jersey Mama. So it's more like grown up things. So it's
Yeah.
travel, a lot of travel places, a lot of places around New Jersey. Yesterday we went to the New York Auto Show.
Oh yeah, I've been there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, a lot of entertainment, movies, things like that.
Uh-huh.
Not so much crafts anymore.
Yeah.
Because even my viewers are kind of aging with me, and I don't think they need the crafts. You start
Right.
to see what they react to, and you're like, okay, so
Their
yeah.
kids
So
get
most of my
older.
things are, fun in and around New Jersey, beyond, travel. It could be travel to the islands or wherever we go. I share all my thoughts and
That's cool. I find I go to some of those blogs, and I look at like places in New Jersey as well. And I'm writing a list. Okay, I want to go there. I like this, I
yeah,
like that. And I you discover like a new coffee house or a new place to go. I still want
exactly.
to go to, there's a place that does sculpture. It's outdoors and it's an outdoor, I can't even think of what the name of it is.
It's
Grounds for
grounds for sculpture. Yeah.
never been there. It's like I've got to
Yeah.
get there. There's so many.
I have not been there either, and
Yeah,
I've always wanted to go. It's just one of those places you have to time it right because it's outdoors.
there you
So
go.
whenever I want to go, it's like the weather's not right. But I
Yes,
think a lot of the libraries have like free passes
they
there.
do.
Yeah, so I've been meaning to try to like get
Yeah.
myself out there. We have to meet up there one day
We
then.
have to. I don't know how far we are from each other, but yeah, I would love
I
to.
know.
What should I ask you what town you're in now on the blog or is that private? Because I
No,
can't
you can. I'm in Somerset County.
you're in Somerset.
So
Okay.
I'm like central New Jersey.
Central.
So
Okay.
I feel like I'm in the center of everything, like I could go south, north, whatever. I'm like right more than like an hour of everything.
Right in the middle, right in the
Yeah.
middle. That's cool. So, what are your favorite go-tos as far as parenting advice of people that are entering like, high school and on? Is there something that kind of like brought you through when you thought you were stuck? Was it friendships? Was it just being aware? Like what was it that helped you as a parent?
I think when you have like a good support system, I have a good family. I think my family has been like one of my big resources, going to my parents, cousins, friends, husband,
Yeah.
and then other people who've gone through it. I'm a big believer in asking questions. I'm always asking, like, does anybody, I do that a lot on Facebook, on my personal Facebook. Has anyone done this? And one of the interesting things is I was a teacher too, before, like,
Mhm.
right, I started the blog after I left teaching.
Yeah.
So I'm still connected to a lot of my parents of my former students.
Oh, that's
So
not.
and I just find they are a huge resource, like because especially because I love their children who are now adults,
Of course.
and to go back to them and say, hey, how did you guys get through this? Or what did you do college? A lot of them have been very helpful with college advice, like,
Oh, that's
applying for
great.
colleges and,
Mhm.
so they've been a huge resource, like, which is something you don't think about when you become a teacher, that like those
Oh,
long lasting relationships, like, and how they benefit your life. It's like a full circle. It's
I
really
love
special.
that. So what age did you teach?
I started with preschool, believe it or not, in a corporate daycare, and then I moved on to first grade. And
Oh,
then I taught sixth grade creative writing, which was a lot of fun. Like
yeah.
at the same time as first grade, I swapped,
Good. Love
classes. And
that.
then third grade I taught, and my final class was second grade. I
That's what I
taught
was
second grade
thinking.
over 10 years. Yeah.
We've got a lot in common. So I started off as kindergarten years ago, and then I went to first, then I went to third, then I went to first, then I went to second, then I went to first and second, then I went to third. So most of my career has been third graders before I left teaching back in 2014. But I had 32 years in, and I trained a lot of teachers. So yeah, it was a long career, and I really I miss the process of it. But I get that kick in my business when I do like a workshop or speaking. Like I still get that kick. And I love to write. So all those things in your brain that you're using for kids, once you're not teaching the kids, all this creativity starts to bubble up.
It's so true. I know you and I talked about that at the
Yeah.
show, and I feel like once a teacher, always a teacher,
That's true.
because you kind of, I mean, not only those relationships like I just talked about, but like you said, the things that you enjoyed teaching about, you kind of evolve, and you bring the love of writing, the love of reading with you. I don't know too many teachers who like retire and sit still or
No,
leave the profession and sit still. Like they're always, I think that's why they were teachers in the first place, because they're creative people and there are people that don't, want to stay stagnant.
that's
They're always looking for the next fun thing or the next
ah,
like rewarding thing.
lifelong learning.
Teaching's so rewarding. So I feel like maybe when we leave the kids, we're searching for that same rewarding feeling
No,
throughout life.
that's probably why I started my business because I was doing teaching simultaneously and I stepped into my business once I retired. But I do like a lot of like intuitive work and angel communication and things like that related to my business. But it gave me the same kick as working with kids because you see the light on someone's
Right.
face when they
Yes.
understand something that you say or that you
Yes.
tell them. Which I love.
Yeah.
When your creative process, like I know I write for love first and then I go back and edit and fix and do this and do that. Are you a planner or what they call a pantser, where you step in and just like intuitively write and then go back? What's your process when you write?
I think I'm a little of both.
Hmm.
A lot of my stories I wrote when I was much younger. And that's the joke that everyone who knows me knows, that I put them in a box and like put them under my bed. Throughout my life, I've moved from house to house, life
Yes.
changes, and the box has come with me. And
Right.
finally, it was my son who like encouraged me to take them out again and do something with them.
Yes.
But when I write, like I'll sit and I'll like it's kind of like a divine intervention almost. You
Isn't it?
do get that kind of like
Yeah, the
vibe,
flow.
yeah. And then I'll go back and I'll reread, and sometimes you're like, what did I just write? And what, you know?
Yes. Yeah.
Or if it was already written, I'm going through it and editing. And like, I
Yeah.
was fortunate with the Dark House that most of that was already written.
Yes.
So I kind of just polished, rewrote, it needed a lot of help, like to
Yeah.
be fixed for, publication. But, that one was kind of done already. The newer one I'm working on, part of it was finished. So I actually find myself at a slower pace finishing it because
Yes.
I'm very critical of what I'm writing. I keep
Oh my
going back.
gosh, me too.
Yeah.
Back to my my YA, I don't know how many times, and I'm workshopping it through a workshop with writers in the area. And then I'm also working with a college professor that I said, just look at this, see if it flows, see if there's like, see if a part of it just like dumps in the ditch anywhere. Because you know you're writing, and then
Yeah.
sometimes there's like a dead area and you can't see it
Ah,
yourself.
yes.
He said, let
Yes.
me know if there's something that drops in a ditch, and then I'll try to rework it. But I'm
Yeah.
working on that book for so long, and it's just kind of like I go back to it and like, I could do that better. I don't like the way I said that, you know? You go back and poke around, pull it out, toss it
That's
around a little bit.
That's the signs of a good writer, though. I feel like I
Yeah.
think you'd be. I think you should question yourself if you didn't do that. If you just said, "Here's my writing. I published this book." Like you really have
Yes.
to be honest with yourself and get other people to read it.
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, that's one thing I didn't mention with a support
Oh,
system, but it's
yeah.
true. You need
You need beta readers.
someone to read it or edit it or look at it and give you their honest opinion. Like they can't
Yes.
be like, "It's great," like
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
really need to be
Go for
honest.
it. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, you need that too. But like
Yes.
it really helps for somebody to be honest. I had a former colleague who read through mine and gave me like audio commentary about things I could
Yeah.
improve and change with this one. So that was like beyond helpful, like amazingly helpful.
I think it's so helpful. And I think, like I'm always really open to suggestion because we don't know what we don't know. And
Yeah,
oftentimes, like you might have a pattern, like I find too, sometimes I have a pattern where I'm not seeing where I made like the same word twice, like the echo,
yes,
or you're missing something that, like, if it wasn't my writing, I could see it. Like if it was a student, I could see it. But because
100%.
right,
Yeah.
you
Yep.
read the same thing and you never see it. It's amazing
Yes.
how you can miss stuff.
I
So,
I have a weird habit too where I'll write and then I'll go like right before bed, I'm laying in bed and I'll
yes.
look at what I wrote hours later on my phone in Google
Yes.
Drive and I somehow I don't know what it is, it's that moment before sleep where I'll catch all these mistakes or things that need to be fixed and then I wake up and I go fix them.
Right. And I think it's stepping away from it. So I find like with my own stuff, I have to step away from it
Yes.
completely for like a week or so, then go back and read it with fresh eyes or read it aloud. Then you start noticing like how it sounds or did it sound authentic to your character.
So true. Yeah.
Like all those old people live in your head for a while as you're writing. You
Yes.
hear their voices
Yep.
um, of that. Do you find that when you're doing your characters, this is something I do. I think of people I knew for that character and then model a character after that person. Do you do that? Like,
Sometimes,
yeah,
yeah. Not so much with this book with Key of the Dark House. A lot of people ask me that, like, because there's some mean characters in there, and they're
yeah,
not really, he wasn't really modeled on any one person in
yeah.
particular, but there are times where I'll like, I almost do it as if if,
If you were that person.
yeah, I hate to put myself down and say, like, well, I'm not as confident as this character, but like, what
Yes.
would you wish you could be like? And then that, I like, transpose that into that character. Like, you
Yeah.
want that character to be self-sufficient or independent or strong and like all the things that what you wish you would have said in that situation. And that's how I kind of like pull it out. Yeah.
Absolutely. It's fun though, because I like writing characters again that, have that edge to them. So I had a character in one of my books who was kind of very like loose morals, and she works in an old-fashioned pub like back like 1600s. And I modeled her after a character I used to work with years ago before I was a teacher. And just the way that she moved and like these, the way she held herself. And it's like, oh, I have a perfect character that I can like weave into that character. And then I gave her like this sassy personality.
I love
So
that.
it was so
That's
fun to
great.
write her. And it makes you laugh because, her character is kind of like a mix of that darkness, but also, the fun.
Yeah, I love that. I love then your characters kind of feel like friends almost. They feel
Yeah.
like people that you knew because you're using inspiration from real
Music.
life. Yeah.
Yeah. Or you're weaving in even things you've seen or heard from other movies or like, just like
Constantly. Yes.
personality types. I think the thing that I love too that I know that you do is that you take your character and you transform them through whatever they go through in their life. Do you hear my dog barking right now? Oh, that's
No.
okay. Good. This thing's working. She's like
I know.
head off because we said pull. We get delivery people. She goes nuts.
Yeah, I have the same problem, believe me.
My gosh. Yes. Okay, so let me see what else I was going to ask you. All right, as far as you, what do you do for self-care and to keep yourself grounded and to keep yourself productive in what you do? What are some of your things that you like to do?
I think it's hard. I think you, as a mom and a writer, I feel like I'm always at the bottom of the totem pole. I put myself there. It's not like anyone's like, you come last. So I feel like I don't put enough emphasis on the self-care and I try, but it's,
Yeah.
it's a struggle. But I really love my daily walks. Like I think it's important to take my walks. Even when my dog doesn't want to go, I'll go
Yes.
myself because I feel like it's just the art of purposeless walking. Like I think we need to
Yes.
bring that back. Like where you're not walking to get anywhere, just walking for fun.
Very therapeutic. Am I?
Yeah, absolutely. So that's my big thing. Or being outside in nature, sitting on the deck and like trying to get some sunshine. Giving myself the grace to just sit and not do anything if I don't want to. Like, I
Yeah.
think that's a big thing for moms in particular. Like, you feel like you always have to be doing something. So,
Yeah.
the
It's
best form of
personality.
self-care.
I
Yeah,
know. And I like I'm a doer. I'm an action person too. So sometimes you almost feel guilty for not. And then I'm like, wait a minute now. If I don't do it, I'm going to start getting myself like worn out or empty. Because I remember
100%.
doing
Yeah,
that back in my 30s, I was teaching, I was raising a kid by myself. I was working all the time. And it's like you have to remember, wait, you got to stop and take care of yourself or you get sick.
absolutely. Yeah.
That could
Yeah.
happen.
And you have to get up and move. I feel like I can't sit still for
Yeah.
very long.
No, I can't
Yeah.
either. I can't
Yeah.
either. So what is the favorite character that you ever wrote? Do you have a favorite, like, is it one of your main character? Is there one that you're like, oh, I love that character?
I love all my characters, honestly. Aurora from Key of the Dark House
Mhm.
is one of my favorites
Love her
because she's
name.
very feisty. I
Yeah,
tell people that she is like everything that I always wished I could be,
yeah,
because I wrote it very young. So it's
yes.
funny how she's kind of evolved too as I've gotten older and written about her. But, she's one of my favorites. And then I have a couple in my new book. There's a lot of characters in the new book.
Yeah.
So those are some of my favorites too. And Key because he's the main character in this story. And the title is like a play on words, because that's his
Mhm.
name. But he is such a good soul, and like you just want to give him a hug. Like
Yeah,
that's he's that kind of character.
I
Yeah.
love that. So the book you're working on now that's not in this series, what is the main theme of that one, or have you not developed that yet? Are you kind of like going toward it?
No, I got it. It's similar to this one with the light and dark.
Oh,
So it's a boy. A main character is a boy. He's like 17, 18, kind of an unknown age because he's lived most of his life in the woods as an orphan. He grew up there. In the
okay.
beginning of the story, you find that his parents um are there temporarily in the beginning, and then you'll see something happens to them. So he comes upon a town and he thinks he's found signs of life and he's all excited, but it turns out this is a town called Banishment that
Oh, wow.
separates the people who live there as fortunates and unfortunates. And the unfortunates are people who've had like
Yeah,
um, adversity in their life. So an orphan would be considered
right.
someone who's unfortunate, and he gets banished from there into this hole called the Cold World.
Oh,
And down in the Cold World, it's like an eternal night, and there are all these villagers there who also have different problems. That's why they're there, whether they were orphans, widows, you know,
I love that.
some kind of problem that they had to get past. So,
Yeah,
of course, he was raised with hope and somewhere outside those gates. And when he gets to this land, he wants everybody to get out of there.
I love
They're
that.
kind of like hopeless and they're like, no, we belong here because we're unfortunate. So it's like kind of that's the
Where you stick yourself, like how you see what you're worth. It
right.
still reminds me of like The Maze Runner or
A little bit, yeah.
the other one with where they kill for food. The I can't think of it. You know what it is.
It does have like a dystopian kind of,
That kind
yeah.
of a vibe to it, but that's so interesting, and I think that'll so appeal to YA and adults
Oh, I
because
hope, yeah.
the whole theme. That's really interesting. What's your best parenting advice that you would give to people that are raising kids right now? Do you have something that like helped you out?
I think you can't compare yourself to anybody else. I think that's the huge thing.
Yeah.
If you're on social media, I
Oh,
would just beware of the scrolling and seeing like the perfect life that everybody has because nobody's life is the way it appears on social media. So
no.
honestly, that's like the biggest thing. And if you're not really on social media and that doesn't pertain to you, then I feel like you have to go with your gut instinct as a mom. Like try not to doubt yourself and listen to people that are telling you things about how to raise your kid. You have to do or children, more than one kid. You have to do what's right for you. So
Yeah.
I feel like listen to your heart and, you know, lead that way. That's my biggest piece with it.
Yes. That's I think that's so important. I know back when I raised my son, there was no social media. There was,
Right.
computers weren't even around till like after, so
Yeah.
I was kind of blessed by not having my life on display or even having that ability where you have to compare because it wasn't right in front of you. And I think people that are in the younger group than me, this is part of their life from very young. And it's almost like an outer directed who I am instead of inner directed who I am.
Yeah.
I think that's hard. I think that puts people always in a state of you're comparing. And like
Yeah.
you're saying, it must be, it's really, you got to turn away from that and
Yeah.
not believe all the stuff you see.
Right. And like you said, my son's 17. 17 years ago it was so different.
Mhm.
I like you said, we didn't really have the social channels. I started
No.
my blog, as an outlet. So I
Yes.
feel like that's the other thing is if you're alone and you feel like it's difficult, like I think you need to find an outlet, either find a group that can
Yes.
support you or you find something you like to do or like, take your baby for walks or get out there,
Yes.
but you have to find something to do that kind of gets you out of that slump. Yeah.
Yes. Do you have just have one person or you have?
Yes, yeah. I have one son, and then we have a little dog who acts like a boy.
Yeah, yeah, I have one son and I'm a grandparent, so I have two grandkids.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, so I have my grandsons are 8 and 5.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, yeah, but they just moved out of the country for a year and a half. So it's like
Oh,
because my son and I are really close, but
yeah,
just having such a beautiful experience and
that's
they're
great.
happy and he'll call me and FaceTime with me. He'll say, "Look at me, Mom. I'm having this like drink and it's got watermelon
Oh,
this and
that's
So
so sweet. At least technology now enables you to keep, it's almost like they're sitting right across from you when you can
that's
talk to
it.
them.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's the good and the bad. I think that I love using technology as a positive influence to reach people. That's the whole point of
definitely.
why I'm doing my podcasts. I bring healers and life shifters out in front of people
I
because
love
that'll
it.
help them. And I love being able to get some of these universal thoughts and ideas out there. And again, my theme is always light is always stronger than darkness, but darkness is still there. So you have to, bring that passion and that light into the world the way that you can.
That's it. You just described my books too. It's the
Yeah, there you
same
go.
thing. That's why we click so well.
That's my theme. That's my theme of
Why
life.
I'm here. Yeah.
Yes, yes, absolutely. And you also have a theme of like actions grow kindness, and I love that.
I
Um,
try, yeah. I don't mean to put that in there, it just happens naturally. But yeah, I really feel like kindness is a huge thing it should be in everybody's life. It means
yes,
so that's like the whole meaning of life to
yes,
me is
I,
kindness and love.
I believe. Yeah,
Absolutely. Yeah.
yeah. Oh, I'm a Libra, so we live for love.
I'm a Pisces, so I feel
Oh,
like I
I
feel
see. Yeah,
everything.
yeah. We feel you feel deeply, right?
Yes.
Yeah, love that. Okay. See what else I was going to ask you. I have a couple other little things here. Okay. As far as hardships that you've gone through personally, have you like overcome any challenges that you said grew you as a person, whether it be, shyness or whatever? Is there something in your life that kind of grew you as a person and that continues to shift you?
Yeah, I think there's so many things.
Any
I
new
often joke
position?
that I joke that my blog was born from grief and loneliness. I joke about that sometimes because I had my nephew passed away, my dog who was very close to me passed away, and then my cousin passed away like a few years later.
Oh
So
boy.
all that stuff,
Yeah.
and being a new mom, like being home
Oh,
alone, it was
yes.
hard. So, not to say, oh, poor me, but it was just a way like doing the blog was a way to like focus myself on something and not
Be
like
positive.
wallow. Yeah. But actually that I feel like that really was cathartic. Like it helped me get out of that slump. It helped me make, come to terms with things that happened and
Yeah.
that was important. But, that's what
Yeah.
can one say about that? But I mean, that's
So no, but that's good. I mean, it's good.
brought me to where I am.
Yeah, and also to be able to shift mindset is so important because you had a choice of either feeling sorry for yourself or using the joy of knowing people that you cared about, even though they're gone now, but knowing the joy that you had knowing them. So I think of that, with my own parents that are both gone. I'm like the joy of knowing them and having them in my life was a beautiful thing. And it doesn't take away the pain of losing them. But
Right.
I think back, like whenever I start feeling sad about my mom or my dad, I think about like jokes my father used to tell, or him cannonballing into the swimming pool, or just like bursting into a room and start singing. Like my father was such a light, and those are the things that keep you, you know.
Absolutely. Yeah. They're like inspiration. They become inspiration in your own life for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Do you have a dog now too, or no?
Yes.
What kind of dog?
Very di and that was a journey in itself because I was so close to my other one and he was like my constant companion. To adopt a new one that was became more of the family dog was very different. My first one was my dog before I even met my husband. So, it was a journey to learn to let go of the other one and to accept this one.
Yeah.
And I'm sure he's around somewhere sleeping, but they're very different personalities, but
Yes.
you know, so
Yeah.
special.
Dogs are amazing. Like I lost two dogs within the past year and a half.
Oh, I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
they were old. Like one of them we rescued, so she was probably 17, a little Shih Tzu, and the other one was a cockapoo, and she was getting senile, and she was probably almost 16. Like
Wow.
they lived a long time, but she was like
Yeah.
into walls, and she didn't have
Oh,
any of life anymore.
yeah.
Tina, who's a Bichon poodle, and she's a love. Like she's hysterical. She just does funny stuff, you know. So she's teaching us, happiness and laughter.
Yeah,
Something.
they're such a blessing in life, really. They are. They teach us so much too, like you
They
said. It's
do. They do.
yeah,
I love the animals.
absolutely.
Okay. See what I was going to ask you. I would imagine that you must have been possibly introverted when you were younger, like me. I don't know. Were you a quiet person when you were younger?
I don't know. I was like, what's that term they use? Like the introverted extrovert?
Yeah, like the between. Yes.
Yeah, like I can be
There.
shy, and this is my whole life. I could be shy and kind of like not very self-confident, but at the same time, I can make a video and put it out to the universe where I'm
Yeah.
dancing and talking. Or as a teacher, you're up at the front of the room dancing,
Oh,
doing all
yes.
kinds of stuff,
Always doing crazy
voices.
stuff. Yes.
Yeah. So
No.
I can be shy in some social situations if it's a lot of people, but like at a party or something. But in other situations, I don't care, and I'm like the free spirit. So it's weird. I have a little of both, which I'm kind of happy about. I'm glad I could be like in
Yeah.
between.
Kind of walk in between. I do the same thing. I remember I was doing a workshop out at a women's convention, and there was a lot of people. And I remember I was very confident doing that, but when I walked into the room for lunch, I didn't know anybody. And I'm holding my lunch tray, and all of a sudden I was an 11-year-old shy girl again. I'm like, where am I going to sit? And then I'm like, all right, come on, you're an adult now. Don't be afraid. So I just walked up to someone and said, do you mind if I sit here? And it worked out. But it was so weird because I had that moment of all of a sudden I was a kid again. And it was just very strange.
Isn't that funny? It doesn't leave you. I often
Yeah.
tell my son that, like, things you think you would get over as an adult, it's still hard. Even rejection as an adult is still hard. Like
Yes.
there's so many things you think by the time you get to be an adult that you'll be fine with it. You'll be fine being alone in those situations or whatever. You're not.
No, I know. And I guess the only fix is to force yourself to do those uncomfortable things.
True.
So, after that, I had suggested, to the people after, I said, it would be great if you had one reserved table for people that are presenting. So at least you'll know, I'll go sit there.
It's a
And
good idea.
you feel like you're out in the middle of nowhere, just like looking for who to horn in on,
Yeah. You
And I,
know what I try to like if I'm at an event and I see someone else is alone, like if I were at that event and I saw you come in with your lunch tray,
yes,
I might be the type that would be like, "Do you want to sit here?" Because
so I've
I
done
know
that.
that feeling and I can't stand that feeling, so I totally get it.
Yes, I would do that too. Like I
Yeah.
like the idea they're doing in schools like a little bench where if no one's sitting playing with you, you could sit on it and it's
Yeah.
over and join me.
So sweet.
I think we need that for adults too sometimes, right?
Seriously, I say we do, especially at like social functions. It's like there
Yes.
should be a corner for the people who don't know how to like, not a corner. Let's put them out further.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
not the corner.
yeah, yeah.
Some place for them to stand. Like these are all the people over here that don't know how to
Right.
talk to each other.
That's right. That's right. The shy or the more quiet.
Yeah. And it's funny because, you and I say this that we can talk to people and do that, but marketing the book is difficult for both of us, like to actually try to
Yeah.
go out and sell it and be
Our
a
marketers
salesperson.
themselves. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can highlight any other person. One of the things I learned from my blog from a marketing person, he said, you love shining light on anyone that's on your show, but you never talk about yourself. And I'm like, well, it's not about me. He goes, well, it kind of is because it's yours. I'm like, I know, but I feel like so weird doing that, you know?
No, he's right though, that you need to like put yourself in there too, because it's just your space.
Yeah, yeah. So that's why I try to do that, but I never want to overstep my guest or, like, because I'm basically not like that. But
Yeah.
you have to.
No, as
So
a guest, I feel like we are both balanced. You're not overstepping anything.
that's good. That's awesome. Yeah, and I would love to like once this goes out, please share. Feel free to
Oh,
share,
of course. Yeah.
highlight our businesses. And I also want to ask, like, if someone wants to find you or your book, how would they find you the quickest way? Should they go to the jerseymama.com? Is that the best way?
I tried to link all of my sites together, although I'm not sure if I have to think about this, but the jerseymama.com is like my entertainment blog. You can find my,
Okay.
more personal posts there. You can find all my recipes, my travel things.
Yes, that's
You can
beautiful.
find a link to my book site, which is jerseymamamedia.com.
Media.com.
So, and if you want to learn just more about the book, you don't care about all that entertainment stuff, then jerseymamamedia.com has all of my book information and all of my author
Beautiful,
information too.
beautiful. And mine, besides the Light Walker's Path, this podcast being out there, rosemaryd.com is my website that has everything on it. So I say if you need to contact me, you can go to rosemaryd.com or info@rosemaryd.com, for sessions and workshops and books and other things that I do as well. So, yeah, we're coming up on the end of this show. So, I want to thank you so much for the gift of your time. And I'm excited that your book is out there and you're still writing and creating. And I hope
Awesome.
people check out your blog. And
Thank you.
it's been such a pleasure to spend time with you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. And if you want to check out Key the Dark House, you can find it on Amazon. You can find it at barnesandnoble.com or at jerseymamamedia.com too.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you, Rosie.